Kלים Perik Chof, Mishnah Hey. And we're carrying on from the dinim that we learned in Mishnah Gimel, where we're taking one kli. In this case, the Mishnah starts off with the word koifes, which is a stool, a big block of wood made for sitting on. Basically, it's like a chair. And of course, it's makabel tumah. But then, shekvoi benidbach, you take this stool and you fix it to a wall. A nidbach is a row of stones. And you fix it to the wall. In other words, you're mechabit lekarka. We said before that just taking a kli and fixing it to a wall is not metaher the kli. And this is what the Mishnah is telling us here. Kavoi v'loi bona olav. You fix it to the wall, a proper fixing, a strong kavius. But v'loi bona olav. You don't build a wall round the chair, round the stool. So the stool, you can still sit on it. And the din's going to be, it's still makabel tumah. If you sit on the chair, it's still, if a zov, for instance, were to sit on the chair, or sheretz were to touch the chair would still be makabel tumah. Similarly, bona olav v'loi kavoi, other way around. You built around the chair, so now you can no longer sit on the chair, but v'loi kavoi, it's actually not fixed to the wall. It's just embedded in the wall, so you can't use it, but it's not fixed to the wall. Take the bricks away, you just remove the chair. In both these cases, the chair is still tomei. However, if kavoi uban olav tahor, here we see the rule that in order to take a kli, which is makabel tumah, in order to render it unable to be makabel tumah because it's fixed to the ground, you need to comply with two conditions. First of all, you've got to fix it to the ground. You've got to have a proper kavius. Secondly, you've also got to render the chair unusable. It can no longer be used as a chair. You need to have a bittul tashmish. So the two conditions are kavius and bittul tashmish. We do both, then tahor. However, if you only do one, for instance, let's take the case of bon olav v'loi kavoi, while the chair is still embedded in the wall, the chair is still makabel tumah. But you may say, one second, if it's embedded in the wall, how can it be makabel tumah? You can't touch it. First of all, you could theoretically touch it if there's a hole in the wall. Secondly, if, for instance, a zov was able to be metabe a chair through medras, i.e., by putting his weight on the chair, if the zov were to sit on top of the wall, and the bricks would be then pressing down on the chair, which is inside the wall, then because the chair is still able to be makabel tumah, the chair picks up tumah's medras. And a similar din we have in the next case. Mapets shenesone al gabe akoris. A mapet is a reed mat, which is makabel tumah, which you put on the floorboards. Kavoi v'lo nosen olav esamaziva. You fix the mat to the floorboards with nails, with tacks. But you don't put anything on, you don't put the plaster over the mats. In other words, you can still sit on the mat. You haven't even mevatel the tashmish of the mat. Or, nosen olav esamaziva, you put the mat on the floorboards, and you don't fix the mat to the floorboards. You just then afterwards, you put a maziva, you then plaster, you put your plaster over the mat. V'loi kavoi, but you haven't fixed the mat to the floorboards. Tommy, the mat is still, because the mat is loose, it's still able to be makabel tumah. And if a zov were to sit on the maziva, on the mat, then the mat is makabel tumah. However, kavoi v'nosan olav esamaziva, you fix it to the floorboards, and you put the maziva on it. So now you've done your kavius, and you've got your bittul tashmish, tahor, the mat is no longer able to be makabel tumah. You may think, therefore, simple, just halacha, so halacha lamasa, what about carpets? A carpet is basically a beged and is able to be makabel tumah. And it says in the Mishnah that if you just put the carpet, fix it to the wall, fix it to the floor, but don't put maziv on it, it sounds like from this Mishnah that a carpet was still able to be makabel tumah. However, I think the answer is not so, because we are talking about a mapets which was primarily intended to be a separate kli. You then fix it to the floor. However, if you have a carpet which is lechatchila made in the factory, made to be attached to the floor, then it's a davash which is also lechabe emakarka, then it's not makabel tumah even before you fix the carpet onto the floor, because that's got a different rule, and that's not what the Mishnah is talking about. Another similar case, Ka'orosh Kavor, B'shidot Tevo Amigdal. Shidot Tevo Amigdal are Kelim we had before, big Kelim made out of wood, which are not able to be Makabal Tumah because of their size. So you have a big cupboard, Shidot Tevo Amigdal, a big cupboard, a big chest, big box, and you take a plate, which of course is able to be Makabal Tumah, and you fix the plate, the tray, inside the cupboard to one of the walls, or to the floor of the cupboard. Kedera Kabalosa Tameh. If you fix the plate standing on its base so that you can still use it as a plate, because the plate was a kli which is able to be Makabal Tumah before you fix it, fixing it to a kli which is not Makabal Tumah, like a Shidot Teva Migdal, does not help, because you can still use the plate under the rule we did at the beginning of the Mishnah. However, Shaloi Kedera Kabalosa, if you fix it upside down, so now you've got your two conditions complied with, i.e. you've got your kvias and your bittul tashmish, then you've done it, Tahira, it's worked, and the plate is now not able to be Makabal Tumah. That's Mishnah Hey, and Mitzvah Hashem will get to Mishnah Vav.